Well, well, well. That time of year again. Wintervale is finally here. But the question is, who knows the origin? Or who knows anything about it at all, really, aside from the fact that Greatfather Winter is visiting the various cities of Azeroth, mostly Ironforge and Orgrimmar, courtesy of those little goblin-run smoky wood pastures. Around Azeroth, it's kind of the season to be jolly. Wintervale, which is also called, Great Winter, or simply just Wintervale, or Winter's Vale in some places, is kind of the in-game, end-of-the-year, multi-week event. But it seems to be the in-game counterpart to Christmas and other holidays at the end of the year. There's a tiny winter hat that's obtainable through the Smoky Wood Pastures. It's in the cart in both Orgrimmar and Ironforge. And there's also a daily quest to kill the abominable Grinch, called You're a Mean One. You have to be at least level 30, and its rewards are kind of a rare version of the Stolen Present, or at above level 55. The Feast of Wintervale being, kind of upon us, Greatfather Winter is busy spreading this holiday cheer in major cities all across the land. And there's kind of a few holiday treats that players can now experience in the game. The Jingle Sprocket Goblins have set up their seasonal fair shops in other major cities, and us as adventurers can purchase many holiday favorites, kind of like Greatfather Winter's Ale, candy canes, gingerbread cookie recipes, and of course the ever-loving mistletoe. But all this happiness spreading is kind of making Greatfather Winter hungry. So he's always looking for us, to kind of go get him his daily fix of milk and cookies. Smokywood Pastures needs a few kind of brave adventurers to investigate the disappearance of a shipment of holiday goods traveling through Alterac Mountains. The later seasons of Azeroth are kind of marked as a time in a change in many other cultures. The dwarves in Torn especially look to the legend and becoming of what's called Wintervale, which is the blanketing the land in snow and kind of bringing forth a time of renewing, almost as a time for celebration, right? Though the understandings of the legends that the races of Azeroth share are not really dissimilar, but the ways they kind of choose to acknowledge them are as diverse as the races themselves. For example, the term Winter Vale is said to stem from a supernatural being, kind of referred to in many cultures as to Greatfather Winter. He would kind of walk the land late in the seasons, winter itself be kind of his billowing cloak. In his wake, while would kind of, would be the land in snow, right? It's said that Greatfather Winter would cast this wintry veil over the land. Parts of Azeroth might lie in snow. It kind of gives the land time for rebirth and a renewal. Ever consumed with this research of their origins, the dwarves kind of chose to celebrate the season with recognition of Greatfather Winter himself. They, of course, take him to be a personification of one of the ancients of Azeroth, the Titans. Much as they kind of claim lineage, in one degree or another, to these mystical beings, they consider this snowy home of Dun Morogh as a prime example of why Greatfather Winter's blessings. The holiday itself was introduced to the Alliance at large by Mirrodin and Bronzebeard. The Torn, on the other hand, they're more of a shamanistic understanding of winter. Along with the recent emergence of these druidic endeavors, they kind of fit well in the legend of Wintervale. They more or less focus on the entirety of the renewing aspects of the lore, however leaving legend worship to those races, as they more or less see it, less in tune with the nature of things. A lot of Torn choose this time as the right time to give thanks for the blessings of their new home in Mulgore. As far as Greatfather Winter himself, the dwarves have a winter festival where they tell stories about Greatfather Winter. In recent years, more and more humans have been participating in said event. The image of Greatfather Winter is sometimes used as a harbinger of kind of a commercial exploit, rather than as a supernatural titan. He also visits the great cities of Ironforge and Orgrimmar, courtesy of the fine folks of Smokywood Pastures, so they bring him into the land. He's now seen as either a kind old dwarf or an orc that brings presents to everybody through said commercialization. Although many people, such as lore keepers, they kind of have their thoughts about him, kind of being commercialized by the Jingle Sprocket goblins as a nice idea, nonetheless. During the Wintervale celebration, right, Greatfather Winter got drunk. It had to be replaced by this goblin Kriz. He would also be involved, if not drunk, in Dark Iron's plans to have traveled to the Ironforge airfield and using reindeer dust on a giant robot to take presents for delivery. However, in those gifts were treasures from the vault of the Explorers Leagues and the Royal Treasury stolen by the Dark Iron Dwarves. But thanks to Kriz, the whole plan was foiled. At the end of the same story, a being who was presumably the real Greatfather Winter watches the Wintervale festivities of the people all across Azeroth. He appears ethereal, as if he's made out of this blowing snow around him. But there's speculation to it. It's possible that Hodir was the original Greatfather Winter, which kind of makes sense. He has the stature well enough, he's huge enough, and he is known, he's been referred to as a father figure, which you hear many times if you're doing anything with the reputation Sons of Hodir. And he's greatly connected to ice and snow. He also refers to the Vale of Winter in Ulduar, and previously resided in the Temple of Winter. Since it appears that the story of Greatfather Winter started with the dwarves, and since the dwarves are descended from the cursed earthen, one could argue that Greatfather Winter's story is just a passing story of how Hodir and future generations, with small changes over time, but yet subtly erasing his name. Greatfather Winter may alternatively be somehow related to Ardenweald, which we now know is an afterlife containing the power of rebirth, just as Greatfather Winter just said to do when he cast the snow across the world, that turns the rebirth and renewal into fruition. Or even Ardenweald's association with autumn and winter that is led by the Winter Queen, who is said to be the wife of the Greatfather Winter, sorry. But if we think, who is the Winter Queen? The Winter Queen is the creator and the ruler of the realm of Ardenweald, and is all of its inhabitants, the Night Fae. They kind of defend the spirits of nature. She's charged with the sacred task, maintaining the cycle of rebirth itself, restoring these perished wild gods, these ancients, the Loas, other nature spirits, and returning them to a mortal plane. She and the land are one, completely. And when the land thieves, when the land thrives, when it brings itself up, she kind of thrives as well. Ardenweald has suffered this more keenly from the Ultima or the Anima fight, it's almost like a drought, than any other realm in the Shadowlands. And this has kind of taken a bitter toll on the Queen. For the first time in endless rage, she's been forced to choose whether the land's lush grows and which souls will be fed to the previous drops of anima, and which will fade away forever, which is a task completely enacted by the Wild Hunt. So the two of them being coupled isn't really that far off from the fact that the Ice Queen herself could be the Mrs. Claus to what we now know as Greatfather Winter, at least in Legends speculation. But back to what's going on in the game, what about the presents? It's kind of what we all have really known to love about Wintervale so much, is every year on Christmas morning, Christmas in the real world being that morning near the end of the Wintervale Fest, between December 25th and January 2nd, various gifts are available underneath the trees in your Greatfather Winter in Ironforge or Greatfather Winter in Orgrimmar. While some of the gifts are available to all of us, you must be at a certain level to receive others. The in-game items, on the other hand, are, holiday only, like the Greatfather Winter Ride. There are also several special items that are only available during the Feast of Wintervale. You got armors and weapons, like the miniature tree, winter tree It's literally a dagger. You have the glowing gift trinket. Toys, there's 32 toys that are available, most of which are only exclusive during Winter Veil. There are 7 toys yet that are sold by vendors year-round. That's the blue Crash and Thrash and Race controller, the football, the swine skin, the tiny blue ragdoll, the tiny green ragdoll, the train set, the wind-up train wrecker. But one toy can be purchased for 5 Merry supplies at the Garrison, the Crash and Thrash and Killdozer controller. So make sure you go out and get that one. It's the same currency, but it's only at the Garrisons from back in BF, for Warlords. So the question is, how do the new players feel about this? They have to go back through, make their Garrison, and play that before having be able to, if there's new players this year. The previous years, right, for the Alliance, they had the Crash and Thrash and Battleship. And then last year we had the Crash and Thrash and Juggernaut. That is what we're thinking is going to be it for this year, but we're not positive. Previous years of things that can be found in the Stolen Present, which is, the yearly gift is the Stolen Present, which totally falls into the play of goblins having, to give the toys. We had last year, or was it 2019, or no, 2018, I'm sorry. We had the toy armor set. We had the Greatfather Winter Hearthstone. We had the toy weapon set, which was 2017. And then we also had the Hearth Station in 2017. 2016, we had both the endothermic blaster and the disposable Winter Veil suits. We had the Crash and Thrash and Flame controller and the Red Wooden Sled in 2015. Crash and Thrash and Shredder controller and cushions. The zebra cushions and all those in 2014. I think that was what? Fuzzy Green, Pineapple, Safari, Zebra. I think there's 4. 2013, we had the Crash and Thrash and Flyer controller. 2012, we had the Pigskin and the Special Edition football. The 2010 gift was the Mini Zeppelin controller. And then 2008 was Crash and Thrash and Racer controller. Kind of started all the Crash and Thrashing. There are 2 versions of the Pigskin listed, but both can be acquired and added to the toy box, and they have different item IDs. That's why there's a difference. One version was from the 2012 gift and awarded to the Feat of Strength or both footballs, while the other version is sold by toy vendors for 40 gold. But acquiring the vendor sold items will not award the Feat of Achievement criteria, and they can be rarely found in the Stolen Present. Now pets, on the other hand, there are 10 pets available during the entirety of Winter Veil, and that's not including the one this year that we don't know about if there is a new one. We don't know any of the gifts this year. Blizzard has been locked up tight like a friggin' vault, as they are every year, about what they're giving away for Winter Veil. Last year we had the Globe Yeti. There's a pet that's sold by, the pet spawns as a battle pet in giant snow globes for the Globe Yeti itself. The other ones, as of in the Stolen Present, they were, the blue Clockwork Rockabot was 50 gold. The 3 bets that can be found in Stolen Presents are the Clockwork Rockabot, the Lump of Coal, and the Rotten Helper box. One of the 4 pets found in the Gaily Rats present, that's 1 per character each year. That's either a green helper box, or a jingling bell, or a red helper box, or a snowman kit. And don't forget, the snowman kit also requires 1 snowball as a reagent to use. And there's also a pet rarely found in snow mounds in the quest area for Frostfire Ridge, the Grumpling. For crafting recipes, there's sent in a letter by Greatfather Winter. Players with cooking, leatherworking, and tailoring can receive red hot apple cider, winter boots if you're a leatherworker. If you're a tailor, the Alliance gets the green winter clothes and the red winter clothes for the Horde. Vendors also sell the following recipes. You have hot apple cider, gingerbread cookies, Winter Veil eggnog. For tailoring, there's the green winter clothes, like I said, for Horde, or red winter clothes for Alliance. Now notice how that switched. Okay, the crafting recipes are from the letter of Greatfather Winter for doing the daily of getting the milk and cookies. That's how Horde gets the red. If you want to buy the pattern from the vendor, we get the green, and vice versa. For tailoring, there's the green holiday shirt, and leatherworking has the gloves of the Greatfather. Engineering gets the Snowmaster 5000. Enchanting gets Winter's Might. Blacksmiths get the Edge of Winter, and Alchemy gets the Elixir of Frost Power. As far as food and drink is concerned, you have, Graku's mincemeat fruitcakes, blended bean brew, green garden tea, sparkling apple cider, holiday cheese wheels, Graku's homemade meat pie, spicy beef sticks, honey holiday ham, Steam Wheels fizzy spirits, and of course, Greatfather's Winter ale. Vendors for general goods can be both found in neutral cities, right? They have Red Winter clothes on available with things for sale, while vendors in Horde cities have the Green Winter clothes pattern. It is possible to acquire the other Winter clothes faction because it's associated with vendors on neutral to all players, which is how I got both. They also sell snowballs. They sell the blue ribbon wrapping paper, the green ribbon wrapping paper, the purple ribbon wrapping paper, holiday spices that you need for some of the cooking stuff, holiday spirits, candy canes, that awful gaudy Winter Veil sweater, which is also an achievement, and then a couple more recipes. As far as winter hats are concerned, so during the Feast of Winter Veil, some bosses, not all, but some have a festive holiday hat, much resembling this one, equipped with a chance of dropping said hat. As an extension to this, the winter hats have also an extremely low chance to drop from any humanoid. So last year's expansion, we had Vera Mathras was in Antorus. As far as dungeons, you had Rail the Gluttonous over in Waycrest. You had aspects in the Temple of Sethlorus. You had Ilisana Ravencrest and Blackrock Hold. King, what was his name? King Deepbeard and Eye of Ashara. And they all had the finely tailored red holiday hat. Battle for Azeroth, it was Fetid the Devourer and I think Croesus and Nighthold, because Fetid was in Aldir. The dungeons, there was one boss from each also, then that was the Green Winter hat. So throughout the entire game since BC, I remember getting my very first one off the second boss in the Nexus. I always forget her name. She's the one that eventually whips you up in the tethers and throws you across the room, that little dome that you fight her in. I always forget her. But closing out, there was always been a little poem, right? And it's kind of the play on Night Before Christmas. So I would encourage everyone to look that up if I go too fast on this one, or if you could pause it, write it down, whatever. But it's pretty good. It goes, "'Twas the feast of great winter and all through the land. All the races were running with snowballs in hand. The cooks were all frantic, and for those in the know, swoops and owls were crashing like new fallen snow. Cookies and eggnog were consumed by all as the snowballs flew freely and drunks smashed into walls. May the feast of great winter be one merry and bright. And from all here's in Blizzard, we wish you a fun night." Next week, as everyone knows, is IRL Christmas. It is a holiday me and my family celebrate. And to those of you at home who celebrate the same, I hope you too have a Merry Christmas and a wonderful holiday. Though it is a troubled year for these things, at least we have the option to, we live in a day of technology where we have, the Zoom calls or, Facebook video or whatever. So I hope at the very least we all have some time with family, no matter how far or close they are. Just everyone, I hope you stay safe, you have some good food, obviously play a time to play some WoW, kill some Alliance. Sorry, I'm biased. But other than that, I hope everyone has a wonderful day. In 2 weeks' time, not next week because there probably won't be a show, but in 2 weeks, I'm going to be getting into more chunkier content, right? More broad spectrum stories. So I think no other better way than to have, it might be 2 weeks, it might be 4 weeks, but I really want to dig into the lore of the orcs. Everyone knows they're my favorite. Everyone knows that stature-wise, IRL is the closest. But I think it's a really rich and beautiful history. And I think a lot of people see the Horde that are new to the game or new to the idea of playing the game and don't realize that in a certain aspect, if you really think about it, they're the good guys. That being said, I want to dig into it more with you here, everyone listening, everyone watching. So yeah, we're hoping for 2 weeks from that. Then once all the holiday craze and New Year's craze is over with, we can start doing the good stuff. But until then, hope everyone has a safe and awesome holiday. We're going to go hang out with same awesome lady in Australia that we saw last week. Good old Haughty Chicken. If you guys want to drop any of the follows for the socials, I am Ziggy Salvation on all formats. If you specifically want to follow the show, on Twitter, it is Barron's Podcast. On Instagram, it's Barron's Chat Podcast. And then you can always look up The Barron's Chat on The Barron's Chat Podcast on YouTube. I hope everyone has a safe New Year, a safe holiday. Most of all, I mean, no, I'm not even going to say that. Just have fun, and I hope you get everything you want. Take care.